Hello, this is Mike Lively, and this is Chapter 1 of Professional Papervsion 3D, and we're looking at coordinates. This is the third video. And last time we basically took some of Keith Peters' code and we modified it, and we created the following image, basically a tracking circle, tracking a blue sprite with a little ball on the end of it, using the coordinate transformation which we called local 3D to global, which is part of Adobe's methods in Flash 10. We're going to do the opposite today. And we're going to show you how to go from global to local 3D, and it's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to take the same code that we worked with last time, make a few modifications, and I think you're going to find this pretty exciting. There's a lot of applications to it. We're in Flash CS4, and I want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Now, if you're new to working with packages, you might be scratching your head wondering, well, how did you run the program? I understand what you did as far as the package is concerned, but how do you get it to run? And so let's just go over a few things. Now, you do want to watch those two videos that I mentioned earlier on classes 1 and 2 that I have up on YouTube, the book's blog, and the book's website. But basically, you must first make sure that you save your class with the same name as you've given it here. So this is called Global Local Lively. The reason I call it Lively is actually I've modified Keith Peters' code, and so I just put my name at the end of it to differentiate between the two. So you want to save that as that name. So let's go to that folder and take a look at it. Let's see here. And I have a folder here called Chapter 1, I believe. Here we go. And in Chapter 1, I've saved a number of files. I'm starting to build up the files for this particular chapter. And this is called Global Local Lively. Now, once you've done that, you actually want to create an FLA, and you can call that whatever you want, but you want to run this package through the document class. So let me go ahead and show you the document class real quick. I'm going to open up that FLA I've created. So I've got an FLA I've created. I've called it Global My 3D Local. And if I go to Windows, Properties, let's try that again. I didn't quite get it up. Let's try Windows Properties. Here it is down here hiding in the corner. You can see right here in the document class I put Global Local Lively. And that's the same name as my class name, and when I hit Control Run, that class will run. And that's all you have to do. So let's go ahead and now make our modifications, and let's go the opposite from local to global to local. So in this section I'm going to take the code that we worked with last time, make a few changes so we can go from global to local 3D. So let's scroll down a little bit. And the first change you want to make is comment out the graphics line style, comment out the line 2, and comment out the draw circle. We're actually going to draw a plane instead. So you can uncomment the line style, just make it 5, and uncomment the graphics draw rectangle. So this is a simple draw rectangle function. Just gives you one corner of the rectangle, the other corner of the rectangle, and it draws a rectangle for you. So now you're going to draw a rectangle and add it to the stage. So not a whole lot of changes there, just a simple change. And the next simple change you're going to make is going to comment out the Add My Tracker. So you're not going to add that to the stage, but instead you're going to add that to the sprite. So remember that your sprite container is a display object container, and you can add as many things as you want to it, and we're going to add the tracker to it. So with that done, let's scroll down and make just a few more changes, and I'll bring down the code here. And what you want to do basically now is to comment out your local to global and to add global to local. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to create a new 2D point using your XY mouse position. And using the dot sprite, you're actually going to find a 3D point on the sprite itself. And you're going to store that in the P variable right here of the vector 3D. And then you're going to take the X and Y position of that and apply that to your tracker. So now that you've completed the code, let's go ahead and run it and see what you get. So this is pretty cool. We see we've got a circle basically bound to the plane of this rotating square. And you can do this with primitives as well. And now this is not necessarily easy to do in Papervision, but within Flash 10 player it's now just native. And so let's review what we've done. We've taken a large square that's rotating. We've placed a tracker sprite inside of it. And upon each interframe handler, we're doing the global to local 3D to get the 3D coordinate that relates to the current mouse position. And the z property of the vector 3D will always be 0 in this case because we put it on the plane and the plane is at 0. So really all we need is the x and y properties pretty much to set the position of this circle. Well, before you move on, I want to show you an easier way to do this. You don't even have to do the global to local 3D conversion when you have basically an object within a sprite. You can just refer to its local coordinates. So we'll go down there and let's change the code just a little bit. We're actually going to get rid of some of this code that we had in here. And we're going to show you how to do this without using the global to local 3D method. So I'll get rid of that. And all I'm going to do basically is make a small change. And that's right here. And I'm going to refer to basically the sprite mouse position X and the sprite mouse position Y. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm actually looking at the mouse coordinates within the sprite. Isn't that cool? And I'm setting that equal to my tracker, and it does essentially the same thing. Hey, that is something. And you know what? That's not too easy to do in Papervision. Let's run the code and see what happens. And the exact same results. Isn't that amazing? And you can use that for any type of sprite or primitive that we'll create in Papervision in the future. So just keep all this in mind. We've really done a lot of work here. We've belabored the point, but these coordinates are extremely important. We have one more technical issue to handle, and that's vanishing point, and then we're going to move on to do the cool stuff that's in the book. Alright, this is Mike Lively. See you next time.